This is the Nautilus compound row machine, and because of the height of the seat as well as the handle, it makes it a great machine to execute a lat focused row. Now for this exercise, you could either do it with one arm at a time or do it with both. I would recommend starting with one arm at a time, doing it unilaterally to build up that muscle connection, and once you nail it down, doing it with both arms at the same time is pretty easy. First up, you want to position yourself on that seat far back enough to where you are not hitting that weight stack back on top of each other during that eccentric. Have that torso upright, straight, vertical, and avoid leaning backwards when you're doing this exercise. Have those feet towards the bottom of those foot pads. It's going to allow you to push a little bit more and have better bracing. Also, when doing this exercise unilaterally, have the opposite arm on that knee. That way you're able to brace effectively and minimize rotating and leaning backwards of that torso. In order to actually feel and use those lats on this exercise, on that way backwards, initiate that movement by trying to bring that elbow down towards the ground. Imagine like you're trying to drive that elbow down towards those thighs and towards those hips. And when I'm pulling backwards, I want to make sure that I'm keeping that arm nice and tight to the side of the body. Also trying to get a 1 to 2 second pause at the very back. And on that way forward, again, initiate by trying to push that elbow down towards the ground, feeling that weight through that elbow and that pinky. Stopping right as you feel that shoulder start to round forward and keeping a slight bend of those elbows on the top of the eccentric. A really great thing about this machine is that it has a really good resistance profile to really match the strength profile of these lats, meaning it's heaviest when that arm is out in front of your body and gets a little bit lighter as you pull backwards. You'll really be able to feel that resistance profile of this machine as you bring that hand away from your body during that eccentric. You'll notice that it gets a lot heavier as you bring that hand forward. So make sure you do not brush that eccentric at least 3 to 4 seconds on that way forward. And really feel that tension on those lats and on those arms as it gets heavier when that hand comes out extended in front of your body. Another thing you'll see me doing is dropping that shoulder down towards that hip, almost like I'm doing a side crunch, leaning into the side of the working arm. This will help me, one, keep the shoulder blade down and avoid using the muscles of the upper back, and also getting a tighter contraction on those lats. Make sure you keep that forearm parallel to the ground, and as you reach closer to failure, make sure you are pushing with that foot into those foot pads and keeping that core nice and tight to avoid swaying with that body and rotating that torso. If you struggle with your grip and or feel it too much in the biceps, I'd highly recommend using lifting straps like I'm doing right here. Also super important is keeping a neutral grip, palm facing towards the center through the entirety of this exercise. Do not swivel that handle around into a pronated or an underhand grip. When it comes to doing both arms at the same time, it can be pretty handy to save yourself some time. However, a con is that you might be limited by your core strength since it's not chest supported, especially when you load it up pretty heavy. However, do whichever variation you like best and you feel the most. Now when it comes to the form, there are a few differences, that being the musculature of that upper back. You want to make sure you keep the upper back nice and tight, but try not to squeeze those shoulder blades as you pull backwards. As you can see right here, my upper back is slightly rounded forward. I still have tension in the upper back. However, I'm not squeezing those shoulder blades together, and I am still trying to push those shoulders down towards the ground to keep more tension on those lats. Another thing that you can do that you'll see me doing right here is as I'm going forward doing that eccentric, I'm allowing that torso to go forward as well too, to get a little bit more lengthening of those lats and to feel a better stretch. It's not necessary, however, you will feel a lot more of that stretch and can help improve your mind-muscle connection. Please leave a like on this video to support the channel, and also subscribe if you aren't already for more tutorial videos just like this one.